Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So today's video, as you can tell by the video's title and the slider you're on, I'll be answering the question to my best ability, who'll see snow this fall 2020. Now, this looks like a very decisive, yes or no, or who will and who won't, but this is just, I'm a hobbyist, I'm not a meteorologist. For official info, stick to the National Weather Service, stick to NOAA, stick to the National Hurricane Center. I am here, I had created this YouTube channel out of pure fun, and this actually brings me back 2017, 3 years ago is when I first made this video on who will see snow this fall. So I've been making this video for 3 years, and to be honest with you, they've actually been surprisingly accurate. And I say surprisingly because I'm not a meteorologist. But without further ado, guys, if you guys would like to subscribe, consider doing so. It's a weather community. We talk about the weather. So if you want to join this community, consider subscribing and let's have some fun. Also, if you're a returning viewer, consider liking this video, as that really helps this video get out to more people that possibly want to be part of this community. And again, let's just get into this. So the first thing I want to look at is the average first measurable snow and where it does occur before winter time. Now you may be wondering, what is this? What is your fall or your fall time frame? Basically, anywhere from now, or let's just, I guess, give a concrete date, September 1st, anywhere to the last day of November. And that's the time frame of meteorological fall. For those that don't know, there's a meteorological fall and an astronomical fall. Astronomical fall extends from September 21st to December 21st. Meteorological stems from September 1st to December 1st, so a bit ahead. Again, anywhere that snow will fall across those regions is what I consider, or across, September to December, I consider that the fall. Classic, typical, nothing unusual. So notice that we see a few mountainous areas. This is from the Weather Channel, by the way, this graphic. Now, again, many people don't like the Weather Channel. I like them. They do a decent job. Again, they are not NOAA or the National Weather Service. They're not the officials, but it's a weather company. And you can see that they pointed out that a few elevated areas across the Northeast will see some snow in September, typically. Colorado, the mountains, I wouldn't be surprised. Wyoming usually also sees, the Grand Tetons also see a little bit of snow. And in parts of the mountainous areas in Montana and the Cascades in Washington. So that's typically September. So, those areas are going to be included, obviously. And then notice in October and November, we actually see quite a good area of snow in as far south as Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, and usually this I guess holds true on an average first measurable snow. But again, I'll explain this year's forecast and why I think it will be quite a bit different from this average first snowfall measurable map. And I will be making a video about when to expect your first snowfall. But that video will be a little bit more detail about the, I guess, the snow in the fall, but that'll be released a bit later. So let's take a look. This is NOAA's 3-month outlook. Now, I know some people don't like the way they do these forecasts, but I still always include it. And really, this year, I agree with their forecast quite a bit. Unfortunately, you could see that for the winter and snow lovers, at least, unfortunately, you could see a lot of above average areas, and actually it's 100% above average, including Alaska and the lower 48. It doesn't include Hawaii on here, but you could see a lot of just hot weather possibly, and this stems from September through November, which is basically that time frame. And you could see that they're really showing a warm fall with this with the coolest chance. I guess the biggest chance of cool weather, or at least normal weather in terms of temperatures, is kind of this area. I apologize, that was really shaky, but you could see kind of that lighter shading of orange. And obviously, since this is about snow, we also want to look at precip. Really, it doesn't matter that much, the precipitation, because this is not how much snow you'll see this fall. It's who will see snow. And you can see that the southern United States will see, or the southern, really this Four Corners area, the parts of the southern Rockies and into the Central Plains, we see below average, but the Northwest remains above average. A good portion of Alaska, parts of the Southeast, and everywhere else is EC, which someone actually once asked me and I forgot to explain. That actually means equal chances, and you could see that A means above, N means normal. They usually don't include the N. It's usually just EC, which means equal chances. it could go either way, below or above. That's basically what it means. And I guess normal would mean that it's going to stay normal, but I haven't seen a normal used in a while, if not ever. So the next factor I want to talk about is the ENSO neutral, or the ENSO outlook. And oh god, I got a little ahead of myself. The ENSO neutral is most likely to continue through the northern hemisphere summer 2020. You can see it's a top text, with a La Nina favored 50 to 55% chance beginning in August through October 2020, and continuing through the northern hemisphere winter. So basically, what they're saying is that right now we're in a neutral pattern. We're in a neutral ENSO pattern, and we're most likely gonna develop a La Nina somewhere between August and October. Now that is a very big range. You know, it could be as early as August 1st. So right now. This hasn't been updated for a few weeks, so we may be already very close to La Nina, or we may be still a little bit far a ways away, and you can see in October we may develop it. Regardless of how this goes, it looks as if a La Nina will be really dominating this fall. I wouldn't say it's going to develop by October. I would say it's going to develop sooner. September, late August, probably La Nina will take hold, and we're going to ignore winter, as that's just not what we're looking at. So we want to look at our years of we want to look at our the fall. Sorry, I got a little bit off track there. Sometimes you just lose a train of thought, and why I'm bringing this up is well, first I want to show you so why am I bringing this up? Well, I looked at analogs, and analogs are a very important part of forecasting, as they usually, they say history repeats itself. It's kind of the same thing in weather. If you've held records for a pretty long time, you could begin to notice patterns, and patterns definitely do replicate themselves, as it's called a pattern. A pattern kind of I guess indicates that. And notice that the little slide thing is blocking it. But 2020 at the bottom right there, we started with an El Nino. We went into a neutral, which we are officially still in, and we will most likely end with a La Nina. So kind of we got all three in one year. We got an El Nino, neutral, and La Nina. And then in that order, I looked at previous years all the way back to 1950, and I wanted to see what the years were like for those, what the falls were of those years. And I didn't choose any year. Let's see, for example, 2016 was an El Nino neutral, fall was a La Nina. But the problem is here that it went from a record-breaking El Nino into a neutral, which probably skewed a little bit of the data. You can see, at 2.5, we were at a 0.5 El Nino, just a borderline. At 2.5 was the strongest ever recorded. The 2.6, it was like, I remember, there was big talks about 2015, 2016, that monster El Nino, and I just didn't choose that year. So my first year that I want to show you is 2010, 2011. You could see El Nino a little bit strong, but it's definitely not as strong as the 2016 one. Neutral, and then a La Nina. Now again, obviously this isn't foolproof. Nothing that I show here is foolproof. It's weather. Weather is, if you will, kind of a educated guess on most things. And I just want to show you the evidence that I found. Okay, so again, August 2010, this was already a La Nina, but notice that we saw a very warm pattern across the eastern U.S. and a bit chillier across the western United States. And across British Columbia, it was a bit warmer as well. The reason I'm showing you these in total, is because I want to see if you guys could catch on to a trend. It's a very easy trend. If I could catch on to it, you guys could as well. Mark my words on that. So notice August was very warm, cooler across the west. Really, it was actually quite a bit cooler across the west. Now we look at September 2010. It was a bit cooler across the north. We got a couple of Arctic shots. I'm saying we got. I don't really remember 2010. I was still a younger boy. But notice it was still generally warm, and the cold air was still reserved to the north, and it really wasn't that impressive. Again, mostly a warm September. Now let's take a look at October. October, very warm. Just look at some of those anomalies. 2 to 3 to 4 degrees above average, and not a single place across the United States. Well, California is below average, but not a significant area in the United States is below average. Now let's take a look at November, and see November, things got a little bit cooler. We started seeing the temperatures go away, the anomalies in terms of above average, and we started seeing more cooler temperatures. That was just one year. Let's look at another year, 2007, 2008 years, or the 2007 fall. And you can see, generally, August was very warm, less cooler air across the west, but still the northwest was generally cooler, and across portions of southern Canada, but you can see, very warm. Let's keep going forward. 2007, September, cooler across the west, cooler across in Canada, but generally, southern Canada and the eastern United States, very warm anomalies, very warm temperatures. October, we saw very warm temperatures as well, and you can see this one was actually quite a drastic month. We saw 4 to 5 degrees above average, and again, the west was a bit cooler, and the west was really, the west, I guess, varies, if you will, from year to year, but generally we see the eastern, I guess, 2/3 of the country warm, and possibly parts of the Pacific Northwest, or just generally the west, a bit cooler. And I want to show you now in November of 2007, you could see things got a bit cooler. It kind of switched around. A little bit cooler across the east, a little bit warmer across the west. But generally, the pattern kind of started breaking. And that's what we saw in 2010, 2011. Now let's look at 2005. This is a year where things got a little bit different. You could see August was a bit cooler, but across a different location. September was warm, so that was pretty well, I guess, consistent. You could see October was warm, but it wasn't cool across the north like the other years were. Just generally more warm, and I guess possibly cooler across the southern U.S. But still generally warm. And you can see November also. This is the one year where the winter that followed was warm. And I think that this year the winter that will follow will be chilly, but the fall will be warm. And I think that's a pattern you've noticed, that the fall, with similar past ENSO years that we've gotten, the fall was warm. Towards the end of fall, we got, into the winter suddenly. Now let's look at 1995, the last year, I promise. I know this may be getting boring, but I'm trying to prove a point here. Notice we get some stark anomalies. We get quite a bit above across certain areas like Colorado, the Southwest, and into the plains and the Midwest. And we also see quite a bit below across the West and into the Columbia. But again, British Columbia and Alberta, those provinces. But again, it differs. But generally, it's a similar pattern. We're not going to see every location register the same anomalies. And, at the beginning, the 2010, 2011, or 2010 year that I showed you, it was cooler, or it was warmer across British Columbia. And you can see this one was it was much cooler. Now look at September. September was a bit different for this year. It was a bit cooler for the eastern United States and warmer across the west. So this was like the outlier year, which again kind of goes to show you that no pattern has I guess no pattern is bulletproof, if you will. I don't know if that makes sense. Each pattern is gonna change based on other variables. But you could see October was still relatively warm. A few cool patches, spots, combine that word. But you could see generally still warm. And then November got really chilly, and that's what seems to be the trend. So since I have a lot of my I guess chosen since I have the fall from September 1st to November 1st, the November time frame matters a lot, whether or not it will get cold like this or it will be a year like this where it's warm. Now, we can't really predict that because that's just too hard, and especially for someone like me, which I have limited data, limited research, limited knowledge, it's a bit tougher for me to do. But hopefully this made sense. We basically are seeing a warm fall because of the ENSO. And now you may be wondering, or maybe thinking, well, just because we had a warm fall, or just because we are in this certain ENSO pattern, doesn't mean this will occur. That's obvious. I mean, there's no certainty. However, if I were to show you each of these years, 1995, 2007, 2005, all these years had a warm summer. And what did we have this year? A very warm summer. So this is just all adding up together very nicely and almost making it too easy to forecast. So with that being said, I think this fall will be pretty warm, especially the first 2/3 of it will be pretty warm. The latter third things may cool off slightly, get closer to normal, or they just may completely dip below normal. And now I want to show you where I think the snow will fall. So if you recall the map that I showed you at the beginning with the average for snowfall, it had some locations seeing snow as far south here. I think this year it will be the snow will be more I guess to the north and to the northeast, really to the more northern locations. I think the northwest will be actually possibly above average. Some areas may see it sooner, but anywhere else across the eastern United States will be slower to come. So probably not in the fall, maybe late November, but really by then that's kind of like that iffy time. You want to count it as winter or fall, and I think parts of the northeast may see it, the extreme parts of the northeast, but really any further south, I don't think it will get. The UP possibly seeing some snow, and you can see I color coded it purple, more and earlier of that snow, the darker blue, bit less of that snow and much later, and then here much less and even later than that. So probably by November across these locations. And now, obviously, if you're at a higher elevation, Utah, Washington, anywhere, you will see snow if you typically see snow in October. I mean, the mountains have kind of their own little microclimates, and it would have to take in a really a tremendous amount of heat to kind of not produce snow there. But that's why I color coded some of these mountains as, if you're at a higher elevation and you typically see snow, you probably will. Just the different locations, like the plains, will probably be slower to happen. Again, this will probably still change, but this is my little 2 cents on this, and hopefully you guys understood this. Hopefully you could agree with me, and as always, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully you guys could subscribe and like the video. That's it for today. See ya. Bye.